Folks, what you're getting ready to see is why I haven't released a video in since probably 3 weeks. This will be the first one in 3 weeks because I have been very, very busy on a special project that you're getting ready to see in this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave comments. What's a big task you've taken on, and how long did it take you to do it, and did you enjoy doing it? Enjoy the video. Hi there, folks, and welcome to another episode of Michael in the Backyard. Okay, I've got a different episode here for you. As you can see, I've got the wide angle lens on because I'm getting ready to go on a big job. It's I negotiated a deal with this company to remove all their pallet racking from their building. And then I have a future special project I'll be using that pallet racking for. If you've seen me in the past, I've used pallet racking in my lean-tos to store stuff. And I'm going to use pallet racking for a different application coming up in probably within a year. So stay tuned. We're going to take you along with me for the whole teardown. This is going to be myself, my son, and maybe a buddy or two over the next week. I'm sacrificing my evenings and weekends for the next week to get this job done. So stay tuned, follow along. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you see. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing a pallet racking teardown. We'll do a quick preview and then we'll get after it in time lapse. See ya on the job site. All right, folks, we're here on site. Here's the pallet. Here's part of the pallet racking. There's more to come. We've got another part of the warehouse that we got to do. Got my partner in crime here, my son. Where'd he go? Where's right there? This wide angle lens is weird to look through here because I can cover, like right there. I'm literally only about 10 feet from this pallet racking here that is 2 or 3, 4, 48 feet wide, and I can get it all in one shot here. So we're gonna do some time lapse. We gotta pull all this roller racking off and make stacks of it. This style roller racking, this style roller racking, and then we gotta disassemble all this pallet racking and take it down and get it palletized and get it ready for shipments. So stay tuned, it's gonna be a fun one.
As you can see here, there's a lot of rollers on this racking that we're first working on. And it has, this is flow racking, as they call it. And there is a ton of it in the shipping area that we're tearing down first. Now, these racks are 10 feet tall. The uprights are 10 feet tall. Now, this racking is only about 5-6 years old. When I moved this department from another area in the building to this area, we bought brand new racking. So the disassembly of this went really smooth. The racks weren't stressed very much, and they disassembled rather easy. Just a lot of handling of product. So at my disposal, I had this little yellow forklift that we had rented, and there's a scissor lift that the company had left for me to use as well for getting the stuff that's higher up, which doesn't come into too much play in this part of the building, but very much in play at the next part of the building. Now, as you can see here, we're stacking up the rollers, we're stacking up the wire meshes. These wire meshes are just, they sit across the beams so you can put smaller boxes on it and not have them fall through. And these are, let's just say, not the funnest thing to handle. They like to pinch you, they are awkward to get off the rack. You're using muscles you haven't used in years, I would have to say. But all in all, this was, we were slowly starting to call this pallet rack boot camp. This first, what you're seeing in this scene here, and the time lapse in this section is all happened in one day. This was, we got done tearing this orange part down by around noon, and then by the afternoon, there was another section we started working on. But here you kind of get an idea of the technique of what we did here. We've got the uprights in a stack, we've got the beams in a stack, and my goal was to most of the employees that worked with me were interested in buying some of this racking, so I sold a lot of this racking to people within the company for the same price that I purchased it for, just to do them a favor. I told the company that's what I would do as part of taking this down. And it worked out pretty well because I would have had a lot of piles of materials in here at the end of this job if I wouldn't have done that. It was really cool. A lot of the people were very appreciative, and they were able to get this stuff down. I was taking it down, but they were able to get it out of my way as I moved through this project over the coming weeks. There again, these are much smaller rollers you see us handling here. They are the little 4-foot flow racks. I've actually found homes for that as well. It's amazing what people have and want to use in their house or their shop or their garage. Me personally, I use a lot of it as well. Over the years, I've come to buy some here and there, and you've seen me use it in my shop and out in my lean-to. It's just an excellent way to store stuff. Now, something you may not realize on these pallet racks, and this is just little fun facts, is this style of beam, this weight of beam is able to support 5,200 pounds per shelf in this configuration. Now that's just boggles the mind as to how much that really is. I mean, 5,200 pounds. Each 8-foot section will hold 2 pallets, and each pallet could weigh 2,600 pounds. And then when you go into these uprights, and the ones we'll get to later in the video, are 18 feet tall, and an 18-foot tall pallet rack can hold up to 35,000 pounds of weight on the pallets. It's just incredible the amount of for them, no more than they weigh, and how they're constructed. It's just, these are just very well engineered products, and these are used throughout the nation and throughout the world in this configuration. But it's pretty cool. Just thought that'd be a little fun fact for you. But as you can see us here, we're starting to get some stacks of stuff, and these things are kind of slippery. They're powder coated, and the green uprights, when you try to stack them, they like to slide around, and it's just easier to have 2 of us there to get these things stacked on top. And then we very carefully move them around because they just slip around. And I didn't quite have my banding. I bought some 3/4 inch banding, steel banding, to start banding this stuff together. And when you band it all together tight, it turns into one solid brick and makes it much easier to handle and much less likely to spill. Now we've readjusted the camera. We're going to move some of this roller racking out of our way and get started on this next section. And there again, this is something that my son and I haven't done, this type of work. I do a lot of, as you see, I do a lot of activities around the property here at my house, but this was a whole different kind of work and a lot of physical activity. And it, honestly, you were tired at the end of the day, but it felt fantastic to get this kind of physical activity. I'll be happy to share with you now that I actually lost 15 pounds during this past 3 weeks of, let's call it pallet rack boot camp. And I plan on keeping it off, but there was a lot of work. There was a lot of work here. Here again, we're starting to see these meshes stacking up. I call them meshes. There's the wire racking that goes on top of the cross beams. And those, once you get a stack of those together, they are heavy. They are extremely heavy. And here again, we're still learning how to stack these orange cross beams. This is not the way to stack them, we come to find out later on when some of them kind of spill over on us. And then we came up with a better technique, and I built a little framework, as you'll see later on, that I used to stack them in and then band them up. Then we had some visitors. This is a supervisor, and her husband stopped by to say hi and see what the place looked like after we've gotten all this stuff cleared out. Great people. And then it was time to get back to work, removing more cross beams. A little bit here, you'll see the scissor lift, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not great with heights. When it comes to working at heights, it's not my strong suit. Even deer hunting, I would be up in a tree 20 foot up, and I'd be really, not feeling real stable about everything that high off the ground. But once you're up there a little while, you kind of get used to it. The same way with the scissor lift, and little did I know how used to it I was going to get. Because once we moved to the big main part of the warehouse where the 18-foot uprights live, I was working near the ceiling a generous amount of the time, handling beams, knocking beams loose with rubber hammers, and disassembling fencing and backdrops and stuff like that. It was quite the deal. This little shoe rack thing we're taking down, I can't get anybody to buy that. These things were expensive, and they're handy because you can store a lot of little stuff in it. But it was for sale on Facebook Marketplace. I've marked it down twice, and I can't get anybody to buy it. But eventually, maybe somebody will buy it. Here we are on the scissor lift, just trying to we didn't have to extend the scissor lift up at all, just to give us enough height to get at these upper beams that were just at the top of the 10-footers. there's a little bit of cardboard in our way that was left behind. We had to work around that and get that down out of the way. But piece by piece, little by little, my son and I got it all tore down. And like I said, it was a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of progress. It's amazing what small pile of steel, how when it's all erected, it takes up a massive amount of space in a warehouse situation. Here we are getting closer to the end, working our way down. I'm handing parts down to him. Little did I know this was going to be our lives for the next few weeks of just taking beams down and handing them down and stacking them up. But it was, and it was like I said, a good time. Got to spend some good quality time with my son. We took lunch break, went and ate lunch together, and there again, right there, that little bit of orange there's cross beam spilled, and we left them for now. We'll pick them up later. Getting down here to the last little bit in this area, and just getting a section of the job done was fun. Felt like a big accomplishment. Little did I know of what was to come. Bigger, heavier, taller pieces. So, anyway, there's the last pieces coming down. Good time.
Alrighty, folks, that little bit of time lapse we've had about a week. Let's see, about a week and a half has passed by. I want to show you the progress. So it's kind of echoey in here now. This is pretty much an empty place except for the stuff that I've been taking down and removing. Probably 25%, 30% has left the building now. I'm still kitting things up for people and myself. I built a little rack here so I could easily put together about 56 beams on here, and then I can use my recently acquired banding equipment and band it all together with 3/4 inch steel banding so it doesn't fall apart when I try to haul it. Here we're out in the main part of the warehouse. As you can see now, these cross beams, we've taken probably 90% of the cross beams out at this moment in time between myself, my buddy, and my son, and a little bit of hired help, one individual I should say. We've got some of these uprights down. Here's 18 of them, 18 foot of them. They're 18 feet tall. But I think I'm gonna stand them on edge like this, not like this, because I gotta ship a bunch of them out of the States. And it's been a fun little side project. Right now it's 4:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. And just the start of my regular long day. My buddy and I decided we've been working evenings on this stuff, and now this morning we decided let's work early in the morning while we're fresh, and we'll come back and do this on a daily basis for a little while, see how far we can get. This can't be too much longer. I got to be out. This is all got to be out of here by the end of the month. It is currently the 16th, and I got to be out by the end of the month. So if you haven't seen a video for a week or two, that's because all my extra time has been spent working on removing all of this racking in the warehouse. And you say, Michael, why would you take on such a project? Well, I've had a dream for a long time about building a building out of pallet racking. And I've been dreaming about it for years, back over 10 years ago when I had my Harley. I thought, wouldn't it be neat to have a building built with, instead of 6x6 pole barn, using these heavy duty pallet racking, put some pillars in the ground and bolt those down and make an entire wall with pallet racking. Both sides on the end caps on the building out of pallet racking. Have a 16-foot opening on either end with a pull-up garage door. That's been my dream. And why would you want to do that? Well, that's because I'll have built-in storage and shelving. I can have a 40-foot wide by 48-foot long building. It's going to be very solidly constructed because it's all made of steel. and it's reinforced, braced. You know, these shelves, when they're properly put together, will hold up to 56 or 5,200 pounds apiece per 8-foot span. Up to 35,000 pounds per upright. You know, a pair of uprights. So that's nothing to, you know, it's nothing to frown on, you know. So it's going to be a lot of storage, a lot of open space in the middle. And essentially, I'm building a giant carport that I can pull. I want to do it next year, that I can pull my dump truck in, my tractor in, large boats in, and I could be out of the direct weather. Now, is this going to be insulated and heated currently? No, but it will be a metal building that I can do a lot of work in and get my, stay out of, like I said, the direct weather. I can have the openings facing north-south, so the west wind that normally hits my property isn't zipping through there at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Plus, I'll have all this storage space built into the walls, as it were. And I've got some special ideas on how I want to do the purlins that run along the length of the building. Pretend this is the building here. I'm gonna lay my 2x4s this way versus this way. And what that'll do is that'll stand my sheet metal off the wall for the siding off the wall this far. This will allow me to put up to 3 inches of spray foam insulation in there and not come in contact with the brackets. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you along on the ride of taking this pallet racking down, is because I have dreams about it, and I have a plan, and this opportunity presented itself. I threw my hat in the ring, and they accepted my offer to take it down, and my purchase price for the beams, which is extremely reasonable, and can do something that would be, let's just say, unaffordable otherwise, but a little sweat equity, and that can make a lot of things happen. So the activity you're going to see in the next clip is, there again, we've got this whole row here just has the uprights. The upright beams are holding it together from falling over. There's currently studs in the floor, or anchors in the floor, 2 anchors per leg holding it down. And what I'm going to do there is I got some straps, I got a forklift. That was one of the requirements I had to have. I made a deal with. I need a forklift and a scissor lift, and that's what I have here that the company has left behind for me to use until the end of the month. And then they go to their respective homes, and I'll use it to get this stuff down, get it loaded on trailers, my trailers, get it loaded on shipping trucks and whatnot. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to show you the process here. I'm going to get a time lapse of it next, of going up and taking down a beam, laying down a beam, taking down a beam. Now, my son and I did wrestle the pile you see down at the end of the hallway here, this aisle. We wrestled those down by hand, and it can be a little dangerous. It can get away from you. That's 18 foot tall. It's a little top heavy till you get it under control. 2 people can carry these with ease. I shouldn't say ease. They're not light, but they're not extremely heavy either. But I can actually get these things down on the ground easier when I take the forklift up top. As you'll see, I got some lifting straps that I'll wrap around the top, and I can slowly lower them down one by one and make in a manageable fashion. And then with the upper beams, cross beams, I can take those down with the scissor lift one by one. So between myself and my buddy, we're going to be able to take these down. My goal this morning is to get all these down. So right now, like I said, I came in at 4:30. I'm doing this little bit of shot of the video here. I'm going to set up the time lapse, get the equipment out here, and hopefully within 2 hours before we need to head to our regular jobs, we can get all this whole row down and do what I plan to do, and make a little money along the way. So this was a big undertaking, bigger than I would normally take on, but I think the payoff's going to be well worth it. All right, enjoy the time lapse. Tell me if you see something crazy, or you wonder, why the heck would I ever do something like this? All right, folks, let's get you going.
All right, here it is, our early morning hours, and I'm getting set up to do a new technique for taking down these uprights. Currently, We tried stacking them up with the forks, grabbing them at the top. That wasn't as safe as it should have been. So we changed modes. I went and ordered some straps. So lifting straps so I can put on here, and a C-clamp I've got to put on the end of the forks to keep the strap from lifting off at the scissor lift, and kind of going over what we're going to do here and how I want to attack it, and we're going to give it a try. So right now he's going to put the loop around the upright, and once he gets the upright looped, he's going to take that cross beam down. Now it's supported just strictly by the forklift and the strap. And what I'm going to do next is I got to unbolt it from the floor. Boom, boom, like that. Pick it up off the studs, lay it on the floor. That actually went really, really smooth. I was really happy with the progress. So then stack it up there against the beam. And you see me take my hammer, and we got to drive these anchors down into the floor. Fortunately, they drilled them deep enough so that I can just drive them down flush. Don't have to sit there and grind each one of them off, which is very helpful. And then it's just a rinse, repeat. This actually went really, really well. He's holding my buddy's there. He's up there taking the beams off, stacking them in the scissor lift. As he works his way down, I'm working up down on the floor. He's working up top. And later in the video, you'll see how we reverse the rolls with my son. He doesn't do well with heights, and I do better with them than he does. So I was elected to go up in the scissor lift and do the scissor lift work. And he runs the stand-up forklift, and we get that all taken care of. This section here, there again, you've seen it, it's pretty much stripped down except for one cross beam at the top that holds everything together. The anchors at the floor. And once you get it down to this point, it actually moves along pretty quick. It's the getting to that point. Now, the part I didn't show you through this whole video is the fact that these wire meshes were on every single shelf. There's well over 700 wire mesh coverings on all of these, and they ended up so they were covered in dust, years and years and years of dust. But it took so many hours of just removing those. That was probably the worst part of the whole job, was removing all those waterfall decking, as it's called, I think, or the wire mesh decking. That was the worst part. And my buddy and I were just troopers, and we swapped off. He was getting on the rack, picking them up, handing them over to me, and we were creating stacks. And we actually sat the pallet on top of the scissor lift and was able to load, up to 16 wire meshes on top of the scissor lift, and then lower it down and then pick those off the lift with the fork truck and rinse, repeat over and over and over until we actually had them all removed. At this point, there may be a total of 15 wires left in this whole building up on the racks. Wasn't looking forward to jumping back into that again, but it went pretty well. Once you got that down, the rest of it was, just a lot of physical labor. These beams were stuck kind of good. I take a rubber hammer, bop them on the bottom, knock them loose. And once you got them knocked loose, they would, they're not crazy heavy. I think they weigh 25 pounds a piece. The uprights there that you saw me just drag there weigh about 110 pounds a piece, maybe, something like that. You get a stack of them, it adds up. But a lot to physically handle, so the equipment definitely helps a lot. Just like this, dragging it across like that and get them over made it so nice to do. Definitely the way to do it. We came up with, as we went through this job, we came up with techniques and things to make our life easier. So we'd try something for a little while. It's like, hey, let's try this, and then we'd try that, and it would make life easier. And it's like, well, then the next day when we came in and we knew that type of work we had to do, it's like, well, we got this all figured out. It's just, let's do some more of that. Here again, we got this section done in about an hour. Right now we're sweeping the floor. It's always nice to keep it clean. We'd pick up hardware with our little magnet. We collected practically a little, like a 2-gallon bucket of just hardware off the floor from taking all these bolts and stuff and washers and nuts, and because these forklifts don't like to drive over stuff like that. Now this is the next section of coming up is my son and I were working together on another Saturday morning, and I'm on the scissor. Now these, keep in mind, these beams here, uprights are like 18, the yellow ones are 18.5 feet tall. So there again, it's not crazy tall. But if you're not enjoying heights, it gets a little unnerving. But then, like I said, the more I was up there, the more you start getting really, really comfortable with it. And it's crazy after you spend so much time in one of these things. And you can't see it much in this video here, but these things, when you move, the thing rocks back and forth a little bit. It has a little sway to it. And after you spend several hours in one and you get off of it, and you're sitting down taking a break, it feels like your chair is still moving. It's kind of the same effect I have when I go fishing all day and the boat's rocking back and forth, and then you finally get to the point where you're on land and you don't feel like you feel like you're still moving back and forth. It's kind of weird how your body does that. But anyway, here we're just going after it one by one, and as you can see, there's some fencing up high there. That was to keep pallets and products from falling off from one shelf to the other into an aisle area. And this is probably, the slowest part is when you've got 2 rows of pallet racking together. You're having to take apart the bracing that holds it together and pull it down. But once you got it down to 1 row, you can just zip down each side and it comes down pretty quick. But as you can see there, we've got the whole technique of handing the beams off to my son. He's putting them on the forklift there to get a stack up so I can put banding around them and handle them better. And he's dragging these over to the other pile. And we just kept working our way across. This is, like I said, rinse, repeat over and over and over. And there again, it was fun. It was neat to see the progress. Pretty much what you see pictured here is all that's left in the building, except for I shouldn't say, we got that hallway on both sides that we were working in just earlier, my buddy and I were. But my son and I, this day, I should say, got this whole back section taken down. Now, I'm not going to show the whole thing being removed in this video, but there again, another full day to remove this whole section. So the mornings and evenings, we'd make a little progress. On the Saturday and Sunday, we'd make a lot of progress. And at this point, I'm sitting here editing. It's the date's 4/27, so it's been 21 days of doing this, and I still got probably 2 pallets worth of stuff to get. 2 trips, I'm saying 2 trips to my trailer today on Sunday to finish it up, and then it'll be completely done. As you can see, this fencing actually slows us down quite a bit because there's 4 bolts holding it together, but we were able to use the forklift and the scissor lift there to help. One person can manhandle it and drop it down onto the pallet up high. We had to get this removed before we could start removing the rest of the pallet racking. Ended up with a lot of fencing there. I think I figured out I'm gonna make a dog run out of it, but we'll see. We'll just see. Here we are down to the last row, and this is where things started to pick up the pace quite a bit. Just for the simple fact, you only got to work 1 row of beams and then an upright, a beam and an upright. And here again, working close to the ceiling here, but it's not bad. Getting real comfortable with it. And those of you that work off these scissor lifts and JLGs and other types of things like that, my hat's off to you. It can be dangerous. I can see where the dangers are there. Obviously, this has got 42-inch high railing around it. You're pretty secured inside of it. You're not going to just fall out of it. But getting down to the little bit here, and won't bore you with the rest of it. But it's as you can see, the process, it works. We are making great strides in moving this project along. Here my son is walking around picking up stuff with a magnet, just so we don't roll over it with the wheels and get them stuck in the tires and stuff like that. Man, it feels good to have this project just about completely done.
Hey folks, we're back in the warehouse. I wanted to show you some of the progress. This was the first area we took down about 3 weeks ago from now, from when you're seeing this video so far, or seeing this portion of the video, I should say. But I've got everything staged, packed. There's more down here. Let's go out into the main part of the warehouse. We're going to take a look at that. It's been a lot of work. A lot of work. There's days I was wondering, should I have taken on this? But then, you know, I have the never say die attitude about just about everything I do. So we're going out to the main warehouse. This will be a shock to you. This used to be full of pallet racking. This has been an amazing amount of work. This was all pallet racking through here. You couldn't walk through this area except down the aisles in this whole entire area. Obviously, I've got part of this work that I took down was going to another company. I've got their uprights staged here. There's 49 of those packed up and staged to go there. I've already sold a decent amount of it, a lot of it to the fellow employees that I work with for a very, very, very reasonable price for what I paid for it. I wasn't trying to profit off of my fellow co-workers. I bought it, sold it to them for what I paid for it. Here is some of my spoils of my work and effort. I've got this bundled up for myself. I've still got these uprights to bundle up yet. So a lot of work. And this is all my company moving from, not my company, who I work for, moving from one building to another. Like I said, I got the contract to acquire half of this racking that was in the warehouse and also to remove it. We'll walk down here a little bit. It's going to get a little darker. I don't have the lights on, just to give you an idea of some of the other stuff that I've got. This is going to some other people that bought stuff here. From here down, this is all mine to figure out what I want to do and or build with it. Let's get some lights on. So I have some fence backing that goes behind the pallet racks. Here again, I got some rollers. I've got two bundles of 64 cross beams, 8-footers. Got some edge protectors, some upright protectors, kick plates as it were, and then piles of the waterfall style mesh. One big pile here, all shrunk wrapped and ready for transport. And that's where the next part of the journey begins. I'm gonna turn these lights back off. Now those of you that have followed my channel for a while know that I worked on it's basically a 14, it's like an 18-ish, 16 foot, something like that flatbed. It's 14 and a half foot of flat area. Then it's ramps, it's a heavy duty trailer, tandem axle. I wish it was a dually tandem, but it's a tandem that I've been working on. I redid fenders on it, and now I've got to get the wiring done on it. So what I'll be doing next is the wiring for the lights so I could use it to transport a lot of this stuff. I've got to get all this onto a trailer, out the door and out of the trailer. I've got till, today's Monday, I've got till Sunday to get it all out of here. So I've got to get my trailer operational, and then I can start loading. These are 18-foot uprights here. These weigh about 100 and some pounds a piece. So this right here is 1,600 pounds, roughly, over 1,600 pounds. But we're gonna load that onto the trailer and start making trips to the old Michael in the Backyard headquarters home location. And we'll be able to get to store it, to sell it, and to eventually create something that I've never seen done before with it. And hopefully, if everything good, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll take you along for that journey. Now, the other challenge I have right now is it's forecasted to rain for the next 3 to 4 to 5 days. So, and my tractor's back in my backyard, in my parking lot, which basically it's clay, and you get a lot of rain, turns to mud, and more difficult to move across it with my tractor without creating a whole lot of mess. So that's the next challenge. Loading, hauling, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed the video so far. This is a little different than what I normally do, but I thought I'd take you along for the journey. We're gonna recap the hours it took me to do this so far. I did a little preliminary what I want to call calculations last night while sitting in my easy chair, taking a 10-minute break before I fell asleep in it. And I was within 2.5 hours of what I estimated it would take to take all this down with myself and other people's help. Total amount of hours. I was within 2.5 hours. It was kind of impressive that I got it that close. But I'm not bragging. I'm just like, okay. It's one of those things, you don't know how long something's going to take to do, and you kind of in your brain go, this amount of time, how many weeks, how many 8-hour days. You know, I originally calculated 9 8-hour days for 2 people, and that's the number I went off of, and we were within 2.5 hours of the total time between myself. Special thanks to my buddy Kurt, special thanks to my son Kirk, and I had one other guy help me for about 4 hours one day, but we got it done. It's down. I'm on track. Like I said, we got to be out of this building by the end of the month, and we're quickly approaching that. By the time you see this video, it most likely is the end of the month, and this job is complete. So stay tuned. Appreciate everybody. If you haven't done it yet, don't forget to subscribe and or like the video. Leave comments. Have you taken on a big job before that has taken up a tremendous amount of time? And also want to explain that's why you haven't seen a video out of me for 2 weeks. I'm okay. I'm healthy. I'm fine. Other than the cat bite I took to the leg that got infected, and I had to go and get some antibiotics for that to keep working. But let me know if you've ever taken on a big job like this. But that's I should be getting back to what I would call normal life real soon, and a normal regimen of dropping videos. So stay tuned, more to come. Some hauling, loading, and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, back in a little bit. Well, here we are again, another Saturday morning. I got here about 3 hours ago. Yeah, right at 3 hours ago. It's almost 9 o'clock. Today's the day, folks. Today's the day we start. All this stuff here is all that's left in the building. That is mine. I shouldn't say all, there's a little bit over here. But this morning, I had to bring the old trailer in last night, and I parked it inside here because I wanted to have a, let's just say, a climate controlled area that was big enough. So I brought it to the work site, and I got my tail lights wired up. Right now, I've got all the lights on, brake lights on, and everything on. And what did I just see here? Oh man, there's a screw in my tire. I just noticed that. Well, that's not good. We'll have to fix that. What I did is brought one of my LifePro batteries in here. Took my one of the wiring harnesses, as it were, plugs that on a trailer kit. Since I've already got it on my car, I don't need it there. And I wired it up here, all the hots to one side, the ground to the other side. And just to test, now obviously that light's not wired up yet, it's not an LED. Just to test, as I was hooking things up and wiring things up and soldering things up to get it all functioning and working. Because chances are today, I will be working into the night. I don't know how many trips it's going to take me. I know that this pile right here is going to take at least 2 trips out of my day. Then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 behind me over there, possibly 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and we ain't done yet. And I got these paired pallets to pick up, which is be about 20 to 22 more pallets total. These are long beams. These are like, some of the longest ones are 16 footers. They're out there. This is still stuff product that some customers have got to pick up on this wall and that wall. This is stuff here that I have cut from 18 foot down to 104 and 79 inches tall. And I've got some 4-foot cross beams and meshes here, waterfall type wire mesh to go on it that I have on Facebook Marketplace for sale. Anyway, I have managed to get rid of over half of everything I took down, over half of what I took down, and sold it to people that I work with for the same price I got it for. So I gave them a great deal on pallet racking, deals that you will never see again for the rest of your life, pretty much guaranteed. Because we got it for a song. I got the, like I said, I got the contract for taking all this down. I've taken it down, and it has been a chore and a great exercise in, let's just say, I call it pallet rack boot camp. I've gotten in much better shape over the past 3 weeks just because of all the wrestling and grabbing and yanking and pulling and pulling apart stuff and hauling and lifting. And oh yeah, one other thing I had to do here is put my bolts back in my 2 outer boards. I strapped it down with that strap to get it over here because I hadn't put the hardware back in these 2 boards. But this trailer is finally going to be put to use. The nice thing about these flat fenders that are in line with here is it makes it easy to set pallets down on the trailer. Now I did weigh the trailer over the scale on the way here last night. The trailer comes in at about 2,100 pounds. And this stack right here weighs about 2,100 pounds. So that's about 4,200 pounds. So when I put that on the trailer, I will not be overloaded to the capabilities of Mr. Jeep here. This is the hardest working Jeep in Iowa. I will probably guarantee that. This Jeep spends most of its life with a trailer behind it, whether it's boat, utility, or this trailer here, or my car hauler trailer. I got a truck coming in the not so distant future, and not a special order truck, it's a truck, folks. It's a truck I got. I don't have anything new, and this is not new. This will be new to me. But it'll be introduced on the channel here in about 6 weeks or so. All right, now all that's left to do is hook this back up, make sure my car hookup lights work as good as my battery hookup does, because I know all my lights function. Now I got to make sure my connection functions as it should. Now we're going to get busy hooking the trailer up, and I'll start stacking this stuff on the trailer and start my movements of getting it to my property. I'm excited. This has been the end of an era. I've worked in this particular building here for 13 years, and my company that I work for has moved to another building. And there again, that's why I was on the inside track of being able to get a hold of this pallet racking and afforded the opportunity to acquire this pallet racking to do my future endeavors with it, and also possibly make a little money. Right now, I think I've told everybody in the part of this video, this has been going on. I've been recording for since April 6th is when this all started. And now it is April, I have no idea. I have lost track of, where'd my phone go? What is today? April 26th. It's been 20 days since I started this project. And I'd get up early, come here, do some work, go to my regular job, do some work, after work, come here for 3 or 4 more hours. It's been 80 and 90 hour weeks. And I know that's not long hours for most people that work longer than that, but it has been a chore for sure, but it's been a pleasure at the same time. I've enjoyed it. But we'll be out of this building, and after today, it's a good chance I won't have any reason to come back to this building, because at the end of the month, my company has vacated this building permanently and it belongs to someone else. So that's why I got to get busy and get this stuff out of here today. I've got a total of 4 days left, and today I'm making it just 1 day left for me. All right, let's get the time lapse going, and we'll get you some pictures of I'll be loading it up and unloading it at my property with Big Mo. It'll be fun. I'm glad I got Big Mo with the forks on it. I'll tell you that, because manhandling all this stuff one piece at a time would actually absolutely break a guy. All right, let's see if the Jeep works with the lights.
Well, the good news is the lights work. They work flawlessly, which I felt very good about. Checking the lights there, flashers working. Worked out pretty good. Let's hook it up. Let's start to load this thing down. Let's see what we got. First load was probably one of the bigger loads, I would say. Maybe not weight-wise, but size-wise. Here we're sweeping up my mess. Going to keep the area clean as we go in here. But, we're going to hop on the forklift here and get this first set of beams, uprights, I should say, loaded onto the trailer. And again, thank goodness for the wide fenders. I actually took advantage of some of the fender space there as well to be able to get both of these on there. So it wasn't wider than the trailer fenders themselves, but I built some sturdy fenders. You could strap to the fenders, you could set stuff on the fenders. These fenders aren't going anywhere. I build things heavy duty. So now we're just going to get the straps out and start strapping this thing down and getting there completely secured so we can make the travel home. Now the trip home isn't very far. We're like 7 miles to my house from where this location is. Yeah, here I am actually strapping to the fenders. The fenders are strong. All right, let's see what it does. Let's get it out into the light of day. Just fits through the doorway. Got it outside. Got a customer that picked up some stuff. He's gone. And now let's just make the quick journey home to see what we can do to get it unloaded. Let's see how Big Mo does lifting this stuff off of the trailer in the backyard. Now I'm putting all this stuff in my parking lot that I excavated last year, but it's not finished. It's just a dirt parking lot. Eventually be covered in gravel, geotextile matting, and then gravel, and then it'll be mud-free zone. Boss come and check on me, seeing if I'm doing everything right. She approves. I go into the backyard. Here's Big Mo fired up. Got the fork set up that I built for it a year or so ago. Get everything unsecured here, and nothing moved all the way home. The GoPro stayed and rode pretty good on the back of the Jeep, and those two weren't banded to the rest of it. That's why it's a little crooked like that, but picked it off just fine. We'll get the other side picked off. There we go, and we're done. Now we're gonna head back for another load. Rinse, repeat, boys and girls. We do this on this day. I did this 6 trips to get this done.
Well, folks, it's been another long Saturday. I got everything. Got like 2 more small trailer loads to get here, but it's all piled in my parking lot. What a flippin' mess. Now what I'm doing back here is I just got it all here in the parking lot here at Michael in the Backyard headquarters. And I had my banding, doggone me. I got the banding. When I went to pick this up, I kind of slipped a couple of pieces out of here, which is kind of frustrating because I got to get it back in so it sits up straight, because I put it on top of 3 more pallets. There's 4 pallets underneath it total, and that's to keep it up off the ground. And I'm gonna put some more stuff on top of it. Then I'll put a big tarp on top to keep, because this goes on top of it, not my wiring here, but then that's another bundle there. But tomorrow's gonna be another day for sure. But yeah, we've got all this stuff parked in front of Michael's backyard marina. Wow. But anyway, that trailer did fantastic. The Jeep, hardest working Jeep in Iowa, guarantee you that. At least by Jeep Liberty. I dare say any Jeep in Iowa, because not many people are doing with their Jeep what I'm doing with my Jeep. And it's got the capabilities. Don't kid yourself. But we've had a productive day, so I'm gonna call this video a wrap and get in there and start editing. It's, what time is it? God, 7:20. Huh. If I'm gonna get it edited for tomorrow morning for you guys, that's gonna be a tough one. All right. Well, folks, stay busy and do what you love every day, and you never feel like you're working. But why do I feel so tired? It's because I work a lot. Okay, but remember, folks, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. We'll get back to just working one job at a time, and that'll be awesome. I had the backhoe out. Probably can't see it very well. Right down in this area, right? Let's call it right in there. There were 2 trees. I pushed them over. They were probably 9-inch. Yeah, they're at least 9-inch diameter trees. Pushed them both over, and just picked them up both at the same time. Put them on the pile. Part of the pond rejuvenation project in the future. I was just feeling tired of moving pallet racking and wanted to do something else. I even mowed. Told my wife, I said, I gotta do something different for a couple hours. So I mowed. And it felt good. Now it's time. The Jeep is full. I've had my tools scattered over 3 different job sites for the last, let's call it 2 months. And I'm finally consolidating it down to real close to one job site, which is, or 2, I guess, the place we moved into, and home. And then eventually just home. That'll be a nice feeling to get all my tools back in one spot. I haven't spent 0 time in my garage or my shop, and that's wearing on my mental state.